The buzz on the spin. We have 4 bodies, dried blood, and a severely messed up environment. Possible raid or severely botched robbery. Hogi reports into his communicator. He's sheathed the knife and still has his laser at the ready in case something jumps out. 2 Tret, a Gobi, and a Snikt. Injuries on all 4 are deep lacerations, and there is a large amount of gore on the blades of the Snikt. However, this doesn't explain her own injuries as there are no other weapons present. Keep your guard up. We've got some people coming to help you take a look. The handler in admin replies to him. Right. He answers as he starts looking around more. Everything is smashed to hell, but there doesn't seem to be anything missing. The occasional coin on the floor hints that this might not have been a robbery. The fact that a few weapons that are well made and maintained are untouched means the attack was unexpected and that it likely wasn't over money. After all, a weapon can sell very well, especially in a place like Octaren Spin. Not for money, not expected, and it wasn't reported, so the killer coming and going wasn't seen as odd. He mutters to himself as he moves from room to room. The entire business is in tatters, upturned furniture, rugs swept to the side, and pictures torn off the walls shows that something was being looked for. So it definitely wasn't a crime of passion. Someone at least partially planned things. So the questions are, who did this? What were they looking for? And did they find it? He finds the central office of the building and notes that the computer that connects to the security cameras has eaten a plasma blast right through the central processor and hard drive. So that's a no-go, which also means that whoever this is has no issue using plasma in station, which is something to be careful about. Mini-Psy is touchy about people puncturing the outer hull. He pokes around but can't seem to find any indication of a remote backup. No sticky note with the code for it, which, considering that there's a sticky note with a password on it, such a thing would be obvious. There's a whistle from near the side entrance of the building. Hogi, you in here? In their main office. Whoever did this slagged the computer core and killed all the data. It doesn't tell us much, but it does tell us that whoever did this is packing full-on plasma and not just a banger. That's not much to go on. It's easy to modify a banger to produce plasma shots with just a flick of a switch, the other man says as he walks in. Jack, Hogi says, and the man nods. Glad to see you out of that stupid shirt, Jack remarks. This one? Hogi asks, zipping down his jacket and revealing that he still has it on underneath the letter. For the love of... Never mind. So the computer's completely slagged. Take a look, Hogi says, shifting to the side, and Jack lets out another low whistle at the sight of the burnt-out hole right through the center of the main processor. Yeah, that's some dead tech. Did you find any more bodies? Just the 2 Trets, the GoHB and Snikt. Did you notice? Knife work. No burns or bullet holes. I didn't give them a good look yet. I've got a few others chasing down the remaining employees to see if they might know something, Jack says. If it's a grudge against the company, then things go even odder. There's a lot of damage here, but you can't tell if anything's been stolen either, can you? Hogi asks. No, it has me worried. If it's not a theft, then what is it? Jack asks. Do you have a bioscanner on you? Maybe some of the blood in that room is from our killer. It's rare to walk away from a knife fight without bleeding yourself. Hogi remarks and Jack nods. Yeah, why don't you though? I wasn't expecting this shit. Come on, dickhead, yank your head out of your ass. Let's go, Hogi says. And a few moments later, Jack is sweeping the room with the bodies with a pale green beam as a huge amount of data runs over the small screen before it lets off a couple of flashes, and a progress bar shows up and then fills as it sorts all the data. Okay, it looks like we're missing another Snikt. There are trace amounts of a second Snikt's DNA in the wounds, and whoever she is, she got carved out some as well by the Snikt. We have a good-sized sample of our attacker on those arm blades, Jack says as he leans into the room and gives a second deeper scan of the dried gore on the dead snikt's blades. He then links up the scanner to his communicator and sends it up to administration. Hey, we found that there was a fifth person in this mess. Can we get a trace on this DNA sample? Jack asks. Hang on a moment. The woman on the other end states, here we go. We have bioscanners at the entrances to each and every sector, and she's still in Sector 3 with you, barring a teleportation of some kind. Give me a minute and I'll give you a name and maybe location. Thank you kindly, Jack says before pocketing his communicator and the scanner. He then visibly considers and pulls the scanner out again. Then he also turns on the lights and puts his night vision glasses up. Come on, let's see where our mystery snikt paid the most attention. There's a slight trail through the building, and as predicted, it goes all over the trash rooms, and there's a focus around the destroyed boxes and files. But just as before, the trail only shows what order the killer went from room to room, and it's a fairly thorough zigzag pattern that hits every single room and the closets as well. Undelivered packages and lists of pickups have been gone through, and then the trail leaves the building. Well, that was a big waste of time, Jack mutters as Hogi thinks. Maybe. Hogi begins to disagree before Jack's communicator goes off. Not. Hey doll, do we have a name and number? Lucerne Jagged Edge. She's at 9418, level 24, Restful Towers building. She answers. Thank you, gorgeous. We're on our way, Jack says before pocketing the communicator. Let's go sidekick. Sidekick? I was here before you. Hogi protests as they leave the building and start moving around to the outside. There's a second Skycutter air bike besides the one Hogi brought. Each sector has its own vehicles, and it was a bit of an in-joke among admin that nothing but an air bike would do in Sector 3. You're right, sidekick is too generous. You're the Inspector Lestrade to my Sherlock. You don't even rate a Watson, Jack says, settling down on his Skycutter and rising up. Fuck you, dude, Hogi calls after him as he starts up his own. The drive isn't even a full minute away with the Skycutters. Soon enough, they're banging on the front door to apartment 9418. There's no answer. They call her communicator, and there's equally no response despite it being inside her apartment. The door is locked, and after the third attempt to knock and a shout of her name, both men give each other a meaningful glance and bring out their weapons. Hogi has an automatic rifle out and assembled in moments, and Jack is checking over his automatic shotgun. Two boots slam into the door and take it off its hinges to careen into the apartment and into the corpse of Lucerne Jagged Edge. Fuck, Hogi mutters at the sight. They move the door and set it aside. The body is cool and the blood has long soaked into the carpet. There are clear snikt blade markings across her, and aside from the dent that the door gave the woman no other visible injuries. Oh god damn it, we're CSI Tortuga. Jack curses as he brings out his communicator. In space, Hogi mutters, and Jack snorts as he calls admin again. Hey, the lead is stone dead. Lucerne Jagged Edge's lifeblood is caked into the carpet, and us booting the door down and right into the mess hasn't helped any. Can you pull up the cameras and sensors on this building? We've got a murder mystery going on. Jack says into his communicator, and there's the sound of something being aggressively tapped on the other end. Of course, how many more links do you think there are in this chain? Oh, let's have a fun time and say 20? We either get an easier than expected run or are ready for the long haul anyways. Jack notes, and there's a sigh from the other end. It would, wouldn't it? She says. Right. I'm beginning my investigation, Jack says before hanging up. Your job here is done, Hogi. Head on back to Sector 4 and wait for the investigations to come up. Really? He asks. Yes, really. You've been working for 7 hours now. Your day is just about over, and to be frank, there's nothing more you can do. Take the last hour easy and relax, man. Jack says, and Hogi raises an eyebrow before grinning. Take it easy. How does one take it easy? He asks, and Jack scoffs. I suppose with days like this, Jack begins before Hogi's communicator starts ringing off. Of course. Hello? He asks. Where are you? Are you safe? There's a crazy Lydris trying to break into the hive. Zabreza exclaims, and his eyes widen. Me? I'm fine and I'm safe. Is everyone all right? What does the Lydris want? Don't care. If you're not in the firing line, then we're activating the defenses. Only the chance that she might have you as a hostage kept her alive, she says. Hit the bitch. Just hold on. I'll be down shortly to help sift through the mess, Hogi promises. Don't worry about it. She's cooked through. Zabreza. Everyone's safe, and that's all that really matters. So we're done with her. Come on home, please. I'm on the way, although I'll be taking a minute or two to poke at what's left of that Lydris. See where she came from and make sure we don't get any more unexpected guests, Hogi says before hanging up. All right, fine, I'm gone. But I'm going to be setting in motion the continued investigations. I still need to talk to the distributors and stores that sold the tainted foods and blah. That's more a request for emails and see if someone gets stupid about it. Excuse me, I gotta go. He leaves the apartment and weaves around the onlookers that popped out after he and Jack booted the door in and were starting to creep up. Excuse me. He keeps it polite as he moves at a fast clip and then quickly starts up the sky cutter and then blasts through Sector 3 to the administration garage on the wall that separates it from Sector 4. He then quickly walks through and then uses his credentials to grab a small air truck and flies off into Sector 4 to get back to his home hive. He sets down in front of the main entrance and just a few feet away from the still smoking corpse of the Lydris. Whoever she wasn't tough enough to survive the floor panels, having enough voltage to power a cruiser-class laser. It was enough that more than a few seconds would likely overload his Axiom brand and he'd have to do something to get the hell off the floor if it turned on now. The body is cooked badly and burnt so thoroughly that it smells a little savory actually. He pushes aside that disturbing observation and goes for the side pouch to begin rifling through. The communicator is burnt out. She has a couple weapons that survived the electrical assault, and there's a metallic badge that would be burning hot if not for his Axiom brand. I've seen this before. As he flips the copper badge a few times and tries to place it, the front entrance opens and his wives swarm out. Hey girls! Clean kill! Now the question is, who the hell is she, and what went through her extra crispy heads to think this was smart? No one cares. Get inside, Zabreza orders. All right, autopilot engage, homeward bound. Hogi orders the air truck and it slowly lifts off and then flies off to return to its garage. Where were you? You wouldn't need an air truck if you were in administration. Oh, I was doing a bit more investigation. Nothing strenuous or dangerous though. Just a lot of boring legwork. He bluffs and Zabreza glares at him. Okay, so I had to point a weapon at an idiot or two. I'm not hurt, and the only danger I was in is the fact that I'm dangerous. I know it's just that, I want you safe. She protests and earns a kiss between the antennae. I know. It's why I try not to worry you, he says, even as he keeps the still very hot copper badge in his hand. The symbol on it means something, and when he can finally place it, he'll have his answers. They quickly rush through all the security scans and soon enough are in the hive proper.